Most of us learn the same formula when we start composting. Greens plus browns plus moisture plus oxygen equals finished compost. And somewhere in that formula, the rule: keep your compost damp, not dry, not soggy, like a wrung-out sponge feels sacred. It's repeated in every book, every workshop, every video. So, one day, when my compost pile seemed to be slowing down, instead of adding more water like a normal gardener, I did something almost embarrassing to admit on camera. I stopped watering it completely. Not for a week, not for a month. I left it alone for an entire season. And what happened next genuinely changed how I think about compost management. At first, it didn't feel like an experiment. It felt like neglect. The pile was a decent blend of shredded leaves, grass clippings, food scraps, and a bit of old compost as an inoculant, but the texture felt off, too heavy in places, too airy in others. Water wasn't solving it, so I decided to observe instead of intervene. By week 2, the top layer looked dusty. The whole pile felt warm on the inside but dry on the outside, a classic sign of moisture imbalance, but something unexpected was already happening. As the moisture evaporated, the microbes responsible for hot, fast decomposition began to retreat. The pile cooled down, and the familiar steam, well, it just vanished. I expected a total decomposition collapse. But here's the twist. The microbes didn't die. They shifted. Hot compost microbes, you see, need constant moisture. But then, the dry phase decomposers, fungi, actinomycetes, and slow-burn bacteria took over. This wasn't a shutdown, it was a transition. The compost wasn't dead, it was changing teams. Around week 6, I opened the pile and saw something magical white, thread-like fungal hyphae weaving through the dry material. This wasn't mold gone wrong, this was forest floor decomposition at work. When moisture is scarce, fungi become the primary workers. They don't rush, they don't overheat, they simply break down carbon slowly, steadily, deeply. This dry spell was essentially turning my compost pile into a miniature woodland decomposition system, and the benefits were shocking. Richer humic compounds, more stable, long-lasting carbon, less nitrogen loss through off-gassing, no sour anaerobic smell, and a deeper earthier color developing early on. The pile wasn't dead, it was maturing. Then nature did what I refused to do. It rained. A long, steady, gentle rainfall. Within just 2 days of that moisture returning, the pile heated up. Fast. Honestly, it was faster than it ever had when I was actively watering it. And here's the key insight. Dry compost creates a sort of microbial pause button. Microbes go dormant, not dead. When water returns, they explode back to life. But because the fungi had already pre-digested so much carbon, the bacteria had a buffet just waiting for them. The result, the fastest heating cycle I'd ever seen in a neglected pile. It climbed to 140 degrees Fahrenheit in less than 48 hours. By the end of the season, when I finally sifted through the pile, I found compost that looked different from any other batch I'd made. Darker, almost black in some areas, silky and humus-rich, earthy smelling, fungal and bacterial activity perfectly balanced, no slimy clumps, and, faster water retention and drainage in garden beds. Dry periods didn't ruin it. In fact, they improved it. It was genuinely the highest quality compost to ever come out of my bins. Stopping watering compost isn't a tip, it's a lesson, a reminder that compost doesn't always need controlling. Here's the truth most guides don't say out loud. Compost thrives on cycles, wet and dry, warm and cool, fast and slow. When you stop watering, you slow the bacteria, you activate fungi, you preserve nitrogen, you create deeper humus, and you allow your pile to reset naturally. It won't break down fast, but, it will break down beautifully. You don't need to babysit compost, you don't need to hover with a garden hose. Sometimes, the best thing for your pile is to let the microbes rest, let the moisture drop, let nature take over. Because honestly, nature knows how to compost better than any of us.